I'd like to call the August 14th, 2024 meeting of the Ogden Town Board to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd ask you to remain standing for a moment of silent reflection and prayer for military servicemen and women serving around the world, as well as for our first responders. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. We've got a very active meeting tonight. Several presentations and quarterly updates from some of our first responders here. So I'd like to invite Chief Gefford, if you'd like to come to the definitely not centered podium.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
Good, Chief.
Good evening.
So we'll get started here. The call counts. For the second quarter of the year, Ogden came in at 339 calls for the second quarter, for a total of 638 calls for the year so far. That's kind of on par for last year. Nothing significant changing there. Total amount billed out for our agency was 1.7 million, collected 677,000. That again is on par for what our receivables are, at about 38% is roughly the national average. Actually, we're above national average. National average is like 26%, so we're well above that collecting. Write-offs given, and those write-offs are that $150 credit that we give to everybody who takes the ambulance in the towns. So that totals up to $36,000 so far that we've given back, basically, to the people here that take the ambulance. And then drop calls for that quarter. Drop calls meaning how many calls did we not have an ambulance for? And I know the question came through as to, exactly how many of them would have come out of Ogden, Farmer, or Spencerport. Again, it's very difficult because of the way we do it and the fact that we share a zip code with Gates, and it's very hard to separate those calls out. But total drop calls, 82. Mutual aid responses, we were asked by the city, by 911 for 197 mutual aid responses. We returned 137 of those, so we actually said we're going to keep one ambulance in service. We are not going to cover that call. So out of those 200 requests, we only covered about 70 of them. Standbys for across the area, we did, in May, we did a Start Your Engines, which is always a big hit. We did the Gates DWI drill. We did the RTS training, county participation. So we work with the county. We send a ambulance to it at all times when they have it. We usually do one a month someplace in the county. They pick a different building. They usually pick something maybe abandoned. And it's basically active shooter training and how the county interacts with the rest of the agencies around. So we always send ambulances to that every month. And so this month, or in May, that's where that was. We did the Spencerport Memorial Day Parade, Gates Memorial Day Parade. We did the Spencerport DWI drill in May. And these are all, again, all these standbys. It's just where we have ambulances that we have staff crews, so they are certainly there, and it's part of our budget that we add to. But the Spencerport Parade, Carnival, the Kids Fest, again, another big hit with us. The graduation ceremonies that we did. The community CPR, so it's still ramping up, and we've now dropped to one community CPR class per month. We taught 92 people at our headquarters in Gates in April. We did 13 at Station 3, which is our Spencerport location here. 9 of those were community CPR, and 4 was a private event. So private event means they probably paid us, would be my guess. It was probably someone who needed to get certified with an actual card. Any of those community CPRs, we don't charge for because they're not getting cards. So it doesn't cost us anything for the American Heart Association to give them cards for that. We did do a car seat event in Spencerport as well, which I guess was a huge hit. And then, again, we did 58 more taught community CPR at headquarters in DePaul. We have a huge contract with DePaul's in all the communities. We actually teach all of their people across the county CPR. So we usually do 2 classes a month at our headquarters, and at any point in time, there's 20 to 30 people in that class of their employees that filter through that we teach CPR to. Facility improvements, the server upgrade is complete, 100%. It's successful, it's been tested multiple times, and it is working. So we currently now have the main server at headquarters, a backup and a third tertiary backup here at Spencerport. So we are absolutely covered if anything was to happen. Our new bariatric ambulance is on par to be delivered the first week of October, from my understanding. It's gonna be here and it's coming. That's gonna be great for a number of reasons. The community's not getting smaller, it's only getting larger. But it just allows for us to have that bariatric gurney that will hold 750 pounds, not only by weight, but by width. And it allows us to put the power lift into it so that we don't even lift anymore. We just push the gurney into it, hit the button, and it lifts it and pulls it in. So that'll help with back injuries and not only that, the patient's safety, because whenever you're lifting a patient over 400 pounds, the risk of tipping that gurney when you're lifting it in is high. So unfortunately, fortunately, this is going to help hopefully not have that happen, and we certainly have not, we have not dropped a patient in 4 years, so I don't have that. Sealing of the headquarters sealing of the driveway and headquarters was done, so you understand, every other year. So this year we did headquarters, next year we'll do Station 3 and Station 2 again, so we just rotate back and forth, getting that stuff taken care of. We are still getting, our landscaping company is coming in to do Station 3. They are going to pull all the bushes and all the landscaping out of the front of that. I think it's the middle of September, late September, that you'll see that start to happen. We're going to make that look a heck of a lot nicer with all the new landscaping that's coming into that. And then, we did finally get it was actually a nightmare trying to get that water bottle station in at station headquarters. Can't even imagine it was so complicated. But nonetheless, hopefully our ADA compliant water fountain will be up and running in the next 2 weeks. It was just craziness. So yes, as Supervisor Zale mentioned, we did win that Stop the Bleed grant, 104 nationwide. What's cool about that, it gives us about $5,000 worth of free equipment. And we want to extend and expand how much Stop the Bleed classes we're training with. But unfortunately, that equipment, because you actually use fake real blood, it gets destroyed. And one kit is about $1,800, so it's gonna give us about 3 kits is what this grant is going to do. And that's just helpful when we're out there and trying to do these things with the new gear. So that is that. Any questions on that?
That's great.
I just have a quick question on how you measure the write-offs.
So what happens is that I ask my billing department, so they run me a report. And so what they do is they go through every call that is billed, and they run that report. So they would say, this is X amount of bills that were done for Ogden, Spencerport, and Parma, and then they just add up all the $150 credits.
Okay, so whether they pay or not,
Whether they pay or not,
they get a credit.
Absolutely. Yep, so that bill is generated, so what happens is, like, say you have a $250 copay, we would take $150 right off the top of that, so you would just get a bill for $100. And if you never pay that, then you never pay that, but you still got that $150 credit.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so the budget here, this is current as of the end of June. I went through it this morning, I didn't see anything really, that really stood out for me. I did make some notes on it. I know last time we had some questions about the oxygen budget. So for everyone sitting here, our oxygen system has finally been fixed. So hopefully we will spend no more money on oxygen for the rest of the year and years to come. That ended up actually us threatening legal. They came in and they actually rebuilt our system. So what would have potentially cost us $40,000 to repair, it didn't cost us anything when we pointed out all the issues that we had been having. So they rebuilt the system, delivered the system to us, and installed it. They've been testing it over the course of the last 4 weeks. It's holding pressure, it's producing oxygen, we think it's going to work. So as far as the oxygen budget goes, even though it's a small number for us, it was still frustrating to have to keep buying oxygen and have a system. Going down through here, the legal expenses, obviously well over budget. We did have that labor issue that actually was resolved favorably for us. So I will happily pay that amount over budget for that, because that saved a lot of issues. So, but that's been resolved, so that's why it's over budget there. When you go down to vehicle and equipment, again, we're still waiting on that grant, that dormitory grant. So as soon as we get that in, you'll see that number flip the other way to a positive number as well. And then service contracts, in case you're wondering, I had to ask again, what are service contracts? That's actually our HVAC contract that we pay every year. So kind of what they're doing with that. And then
have a question for you,
Yeah.
Chief. And this might be a better, I will ask this again when we go through the budget, but I'm just curious. I remember last year, there was maybe about 5 positions that you were looking to fill.
Yes.
What's been your success with?
So we filled, that's fun. That's an interesting question. So.
Like I said, if you wanna wait, that's fine, but.
You get bad players, as you well know.
Sure.
So unfortunately, released a couple people, not expecting it, had to release them. So then that put us 2 more down, but we did actually, within the last 2 months, I've hired 2 paramedics full-time, as well as 3 basics part-time, or
Okay.
full-time as well. So we've got 5 up there, so basically, I need 2 more people on the overnights for paramedics, 1 more BLS provider on the overnights, and daytimes are full.
If you need, what you just said, because I'm not gonna try and
Oh, yeah,
repeat the jargon here, are those positions satisfied in the current budget, or would those be additional to next year's budget?
It's gonna increase that budget.
Okay,
It's gonna increase,
Okay.
if we were to fill them, it's
Yep.
gonna increase that.
Understood.
budget, so.
understood.
Right now, payroll's holding, like, I think we're almost like at 50%, roughly speaking, it's at the
Good.
bottom there.
For
So, yeah, we're
August.
at 50.78%, so, and that includes all the overtime for the
Yeah.
whole, so that's not too bad, actually. But, yeah, we'll still keep looking. There is, the ARPA funding for that grant, the group I belong to, the Chiefs group, we did a lot of rewriting of that, and, hopefully it's acceptable, and we can get going on that.
That's
We're
with the
looking at-
county?
Yeah, we're looking to get 2 paramedic classes of 25 people each up and running, as well as 3 BLS provider classes up and running. All told, about 100 people that we can get, through an academy type class, where we'll be paid for taking the class, for their training, for everything in the class itself. So hopefully we can get answers on that and get that moving by the first of the year.
But that's 100 people for every agency to
Every
pick from.
agency will be able to dip
Right.
into that pool. The way that we've set it out is that, so that there's no unfair advantage, we're gonna kind of just say, you get 10, you get 10, you get 10, and then kind of interview them out and about, and then obviously people have choices they can make personally and move them, but at least everybody gets a set number to start with and to interview for, so about the fairest we can think of to do it, so. Is there any other questions on this? I try to think if there's anything else. Oh, big, huge, thing I'll announce here, actually, that we just found out today. So our medical director, Dr. Dorsett, she has been with us for probably 5 years now, Dr. Jeremy Cushman. Some of you may know that name. He was our medical director for the longest time, and then, when Dr. Cushman came from St. Louis, he kind of stepped back and did some things at the county level, and he introduced her to our agency. We are the only agency that she is the medical director of, and she actually is being honored in Vegas, which I will be going to be there, so that we have support for her as National Medical Director of the Year. So,
Wow.
absolutely
Excellent.
huge award that she is getting, and, we're really proud of her for doing that. So I wanna make sure I mention that here, because she's like, I should go to that. Oh, yeah, you should. Just come and sit in on these.
I feel like maybe the town should probably represent in Vegas as well. I don't know, what do you think?
Does anybody have any other questions for me tonight?
Very good, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you so
All right,
much.
thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Next, I will invite the Ogden Police Chief, Travis Gray. I don't know if you guys wanted to go simultaneously or separately. It's up to you.
We can go separately.
Okay.
We haven't encountered a skunk earlier tonight, so.
So we've heard.
Good evening, gentlemen. I can't believe we're talking about the end of quarter 2 already. I know it's August, so, this was prepared mostly in July, so, we've been busy since this was completed, but I'll just go over some of the high points for the second quarter. When I was typing up these notes, it began with the eclipse, in quotes, the eclipse that day. We had a great turnout. That was one of the first details I've ever participated in here, where we had every employee and every special police officer activated that day. We worked in conjunction with the county to establish a command post for the west side of the county, and thankfully, it was all for naught. So we paid a lot of overtime that day, but we were able to cut it short very quickly, so that was nice. We were prepared for the worst, and it actually didn't turn out too bad, so. Also, in April, Officers Hughes and Longhorn were recognized by Monroe County Staff DWI for their efforts in 2023. Kudos to them for their work. It's such an important field that really helps save lives. On April 16th, we hired our newest officer to fill the vacant position that the board gifted us last year. As of today, he's got 2 days left on his FTO field training program, and then he'll be headed to the overnight shift. But from everything I'm seeing and hearing, he's doing phenomenal, so that was a great hire, and he's gonna be a great asset to our team here, so good on him. Towards the end of April, Officer Lindauer hosted a town hall meeting with several of the faith leaders here in town, just trying to open lines of communication. The supervisor sat in as well. It was a good kind of meet and greet, and we hope to keep that relationship, those lines of communication open. We're gonna meet with them again in the fall, I believe. They were very receptive, and the whole goal there is to just share information across the different churches or places of worship in town, because there's a lot of things that come up safety related that we want to make sure we can get to them, and it doesn't matter what denomination, we're just here to help them. So it was a good meeting. I'm very thankful to say that the new fence went into service May 1st. Thank you to everybody that was involved. It was a big project for us. I skipped over, in April, we participated in a statewide traffic safety campaign called No Empty Chair, and that's really aimed at, the No Empty Chair comes from No Empty Chairs at graduation, and it's, the whole intent there is to keep students alive by proactive traffic enforcement, especially regarding passing school buses, cell phone usage, speeding in areas that are accident prone. We actually do a lot of research. The state has a great dashboard where we can look at where our highest concentrations of crashes are, and we can use that data to pinpoint where we do our grant activities. So good participation that week. Starting in May, our officers participated in the annual Monroe County in-service training. That's something we do every year. Every police officer in the county attends it. The chiefs usually decide what the topic of instruction is. This year it was emergency vehicle operators course, and we had Sergeant Marcucci as an instructor in that arena, and he was there for a lot of the instruction, which helps us help other agencies get training. We're so small, it's hard to do that sometimes, but it was a good training, and they also had some legal updates that were thrown in as well. So the officers love any opportunity to go speeding around at the Capone course, so it was fun. Also in May, we found out we're getting almost $150,000 worth of grants. There are 2 separate grants we applied for. The bigger of the two is $90,000, give or take, we're going to use to upgrade our TASER program. Basically, TASERs are very expensive. Ours are all very old, and now, to no cost to the town taxpayers, we're going to have brand new TASERs. And the remaining portion is $60,000 that we can use for law enforcement technology. It's a technology grant. Yet to be determined what we want to apply that to, but that's there as well. Animal Control Officer Ambrose, Special Police Officer Boer, and Special Police Officer Drake graduated from the Peace Officer Academy in May, and Ariel received a prestigious Don Wasser Award for her. That's an award where her classmates voted her because of her traits, her characteristics, and Officer Boer got his based off of his defensive tactics skills. So nice to see our officers getting awards at their training. All the retirees came in when we did our spring range, and did their HR 218. That's a program where if you retire in good standing as a police officer, you can come back and requalify and carry anywhere in the country. So we get a lot of interest in that from our retirees, and they love it when I bring them coffee and donuts at the range. So it's a good way to keep up with the retired officers. We had an intern over the summer named Emma Sodoma. She's from Brockport. She's going to Michigan State. She was with us basically from Memorial Day to Labor Day. She just went back to school this week, so it's nice to have her around. She had a great internship, saw a lot of things. The carnival, we had several large fights on Saturday night. In the midst of that Friday, we had a pretty significant criminal investigation kick off here in town, so thankfully everything at the carnival worked out great. We're already working on plans for next year to prevent issues with the crowds that we had. So work in progress there. Our graduates, they wrapped up the school year in June. Hard to believe Officer Lindauer's that's his second year at DARE already, so he's doing a phenomenal job there. So much so that the school asked him to increase what he's teaching teaching at the school. DARE doesn't really address vaping at all, but the school and the police department and several concerned, lots of people have concerns about vaping, so we have him push into the school in the fall and talk about vaping. So it's good on him. We have the torch run. Thank you to the board that was there for support at the end of it. Special police, as always, this is their very busy season, and they were a tremendous help during the carnival. Unfortunately, we had representation at funeral details for Genesee County Sergeant San Frontillo, ECD Dispatcher Dentino, a good friend of mine, Chris Beach from Grease PD, and Cleveland PD Officer Ritter. So, but we did have good representation there. That's very important to me. Like I mentioned a minute ago, our road officers and the investigators have been busy. We had a couple of pretty big cases that I don't want to talk about on the record, but if you have questions, find me offline. And another big project that Sergeant Richards and I have been working on was reviewing and just updating as needed every general order and rule and regulation. That's an accreditation standard. We have, I think there's like 120 different accreditation standards, and we have several hundred rules and regulations. So I give him a lot of credit for that project. That was a heavy lift. In July, our Explorer program wrapped up its first cycle, and the explorers that had good attendance, good behavior, etc., were allowed to do 8 hours of ride-along time with the officers. They loved it. So it's nice to see that full cycle come to a close, and we're already talking about starting up again in November. I had great feedback from the kids. The New York State Accreditation Program visited in July. This isn't in here, but they liked what they saw. We got good marks in we're midway between our full assessments. It's every 5 years, and they had good remarks. So busy special police in July and August. We had several community engagement events in July, some in August. We had a bike rodeo in conjunction with the rec department, Kiwanis up in the park. Pizza and Pages, where we give out books and free pizza thanks to Mark's Pizzeria. And last night was our second national night out. Great attendance, great weather. That was just a fun event. I love having that. So we're currently searching for candidates for the positions created by Officer Lawhorn and Officer Panuano resigning. And I'm actually happy to report I have interest in both. For a while there, it was kind of stagnating, and now we have some good options. So this says here we will conduct active shooter training on August 6th. I'm happy to report that we did that last Tuesday. It went great. Great feedback from the school. That was a big thing on one of my list of things to do. We never actually trained to do that stuff in one of our schools. So we did that, and we hope to continue doing that every year and just kind of expanding that to include other departments, rescue task force, things like that. Sergeant Richards has been selected to go to FBI LEDA supervisor. That's it's a kind of a big deal. It's an executive leadership course that doesn't get offered around here that often, so he'll be doing that in September. And then the last thing I have is I'm going to go to the IACP conference in Boston in October. That's my conference for the year. So, any questions or anything? No?
Nicely done. Pretty thorough.
Yeah, that's easy. With that, I guess I can turn it over to Officer Ambrose. Before she comes up here, John Eckhout left some very big shoes to fill. He had been here a long time. He left with a lot of institutional knowledge, and I've actually found during the hiring process for her, it's a lot easier to hire police officers. That is a very nuanced and specialized job. And when we found Ariel, we knew that she was the one. She brings a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge that I am super thankful for. She can attest to this. She will come to me with problems, and I will say, this says police, that says animal control, so what do you want to do? So I'm just super thankful that we found Ariel. She brings a lot to the table. Very, very proud of the work and the initiatives that she's created. She took a lot of John's knowledge, and she brought a lot of her knowledge, and now she's offering this great product to the town. So again, super thankful. It's your turn.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
Thanks, Chief.
Hello.
Good evening.
All tonight, not like everyone has already asked you. Okay, so I was hired in December of 2023, and in the short time that I have been here, I absolutely love this town, and I thank all of you. It first started out with my field trip just like Chief said, we took a little bit of his information, a little bit of my information, and we kind of put it all together as to how I was gonna go forward. One of my first steps was, getting my certificate, my license for my nuisance wildlife control operator license, which is a license that allows me through the DEC to take, transport, and release wildlife. After that, I attended the Peace Officer Academy through MCC. It was approximately 4 months long, and while doing that, I was also handling animal control calls here. I was handling dog complaints, cat complaints, court actions, animal bites, animal impoundments, sending out delinquent dog license reminders, assisting police officers, handling wildlife calls, and following up on whatever needed to be followed up on. From January until the end of July, I have handled 540 calls. I'm also able to assist the officers with their calls as well. I can fingerprint, I can help with vehicle lockouts, I can take in found property, and I can also assist with traffic control. I was also blessed to be able to take the students from the Explorers program, and I do an hour ride along with each and every one of them. So they get to see my side of it too. I have started the Pet of the Month, and I'm not sure if you have heard about that or not, but it is a friendly contest where people can send in a picture of their animal in the town of Ogden, and the community votes on it. After the end of the month, each person likes a picture, and that's how you vote. And at the bottom, we decide, we count up and see which one our winner is, and we present them with a certificate. With that, I have access to the Facebook page, and last year around this time, there was 10 dogs that were unidentified that had to be taken to Hamlin Dog Shelter. At this point in time, 1 year later, there are 5 dogs, and I would like that to contribute to posting pictures on Facebook and getting the community involved. Trying to find these owners has been such a successful thing with our Facebook page. What I would like to see happen in 2025 is bringing back free rabies clinics. I think that this town would benefit from having a place to come to with no cost to get their animals vaccinated. So that's what I'm looking forward to for next year. Do you guys have any questions?
I just want to add, I'm glad you mentioned the free rabies clinic. One of the other things I was going to mention is just that, you know, with having Ariel here, there's been a number of conversations on topics that we haven't explored, some that have been explored and shelved, but her just kind of bringing new perspective to it has been really good. We literally today we're talking about long-term placement for potential animals that are that the court deems to be of a certain way, and how difficult it is and has been to find that, and how thankful we are to have secured Hamlin, at least for our part term. But point is that there's somebody that's actively, you know, paying attention to those things that don't come up often, but if they were, we'd need an answer. So I appreciate you. I want to say that publicly, and just very grateful that you've decided to be here and help us out with this. So
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
thank you. Okay. Thank you all so much. I appreciate your time and attention to these important services here. Let me ask for a motion and a second for Resolution 209, which is the meeting of the regular minutes for July 10th.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Hinman, seconded by Councilman Gerbino. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next, we have privilege of the floor. 2 things real quick about privilege of the floor. First of all, if you could just come forward, state your name and address. And then secondly, just wanted to say that this is absolutely a time to engage with the board. The board may or may not respond up here, but you will end up having a response at one way, shape, or form. So just wanted to say that. And anybody want to address the board at this time? Sir?
My name is Brian Brisky. I reside at 333 Washington Street. I came with the intent of reading a statement that I typed up ahead of time. That changed when leaving my house to come to this meeting tonight. I pulled out of my driveway. I live 4 doors from the Parmatown line on Washington Street, south, or 4 doors north of Salmon Creek. So I'm just south of those curves. As I back into my driveway, all right, here's a turnaround, but as I pulled out of my driveway to come here, nothing coming from the north. I pull out, I didn't even get to my next door neighbor's driveway yet before 2 motorcycles went around me. I mean, they crossed the double yellow line, went around me, and because you're coming up to that rise of that hill, they just had time to get in front of me. And then they marginally slowed down for the stop sign at Canal Road and made a right. So rather than bore you with all of this, that got my heart racing pretty good. About a week and a half ago, we have an ongoing problem on Washington Street, and I'm sure we have an ongoing problem throughout the town and the county and the state and the country with speeding and reckless driving. I went out to my mailbox to get my mail, 11:30 in the morning, on a day that had been raining all day. The rain had slowed down, so I went out to get the mail. As always, I checked to make sure there's no traffic coming. I stepped out to the mailbox, and within a minute, a white pickup truck comes around those same curves, probably doing 55, 60 miles an hour. And what I tend to do, I start anyways by saying, slow down. If that doesn't work, I use other hand gestures accordingly. All I did was say, slow down, and this guy beeped, threw me the finger, and then veered as if he was trying to hit me. And I had to step back into the grass. The road was wet. That could have gone really wrong for me. I understand budgetary issues. I understand manpower issues. I know the town is growing. I have seen an officer that parks right by the curves, like almost on the Parmatown line, which is good to see, but they're very visible from either direction. On the flip side of the coin, within the last week, I've seen an officer park in the parking lot across from Salmon Creek Country Club entrance. And they are able to catch speeders that are coming northbound that don't see them until they get to the top of the hill. And then just a week ago tomorrow, I had an officer actually pull up in front of my house, half on the lawn, and I went out and talked to him, and I think he had an Explorer or an intern with him. And he didn't sit there for more than 2 or 3 minutes, twice, before he had to chase after a speeder. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know that there certainly isn't an easy answer. Raise my taxes and hire some more officers? I don't have I know it's political suicide,
No, not at all.
but I wouldn't have an issue with it. Someone's gonna get hurt. And if it's not a pedestrian, it's one of those reckless morons that takes me up on coming back when I signal.
I'm fine engaging right now, Brian, personally, and I appreciate this. I appreciate, yep, and I absolutely, I appreciate the way you're approaching as well. I really do, and it's with thoughtfulness and understanding that it is a difficult nature. I was literally talking and again said something that the police chief liked and will probably use against me. I said, if we had 5 road patrol, we still wouldn't be able to stop. And they were quickly like, oh, 5? I said, okay, relax, guys. But, you know, it is a known issue. We have started this board has thoughtfully, I do not believe that it's political suicide to put the safety of this town first. And that's why this board added 1 police officer. And I think the board will thoughtfully consider how to approach that in every budget going forward.
I grew up in the 19th ward.
Yep.
I worked really hard to purchase a home in Ogden.
Understood.
And I don't mind paying the taxes again. If you want to charge me a little more to live in, I don't have an issue with that. I love it. I've been here 27 years now.
And I do think that there are things that the police have explored, including, well, maybe I shouldn't say all the tactics, but making sure that there's at least a car so that people see it and slow down, special details like we've talked about. I don't know if we could explore, the speed limit signs that are up there. Did we try that, or did we look at that at one point?
County road.
Yeah, it's a county road, so clearly we don't have jurisdiction, but,
We got in trouble for it.
so we did try, that's right, I remember, we did try, putting those up.
Came in last year and put up one of those speed monitors.
That's what I mean,
Great.
yeah,
That's one we got in trouble for. It's county road.
yeah,
We can't put our property on county roads, without
So
the
should I
proper
be talking to the
breakaways
sheriff's
and
department?
it could just be county DOT.
Brian Richards, I'll give you his phone number. He's the county manager, does county roads.
And then the only other thing I would say is that I appreciate the efforts that the officers have been making, but 11 o'clock in the morning and 3 in the afternoon is not when we're having the problem. We're having the problem between like 6:30 and 8 o'clock in the morning for southbound traffic heading for 531. We're having problems between, say, 4 and 6 for the northbound traffic as they're coming home.
Understood.
Tonight was an exception with the motorcyclists.
Yeah. It seems, that, people not thinking that's around the clock.
Well,
Thank you, Brian.
my father used to say that it defies physics, but the world has more horses' asses than horses. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that wishes to address the board at this time on any topic? Mr. Mayor, maybe the lady? Oh, okay. Nope.
Name is Mike Mayer, 405 Whittier Road for 44 years, okay? We were at a soccer game on Friday night, 2 weeks ago, 10 and under. Very nice path behind the Heinway.
Yes.
Trouble is, as we're watching the game, parents walking dogs, the motorized bike came, 20 miles an hour. Had a helmet on, give him credit for that. Was that intended to have motorized bikes on them?
No.
Is there gonna be a sign up there that tells them they can't be there and be in?
There is a sign that's up there that says that. And now, Mike, you know me pretty well.
Yes.
I'm there with my kids all the time,
Yep.
and I don't want to be this guy, but I've often made sure that the chief knows whenever we see the electric bikes. And I say to him, you know, his kids could be doing worse, but at the same time, they're riding in the middle of the baseball fields and things of that nature. It's a known thing. I would encourage you, you're not being that guy yelling at the wind if you were to dial 911 just to let them know. We are trying to get a handle on that. It's really two individuals that we've noticed often, and unfortunately, they're pretty quick at scooting out of there pretty fast too.
But it's nice, I mean, the
Yeah,
job.
absolutely.
I smelled the asphalt, so it must have been nice 2 days before.
It's recent.
Beautiful, so, you know that.
Thank you, Mike.
Second question I have, does this town board have any control over the budget of the fire department?
We do not.
So whatever rate they choose, because I'll tell you, with your assessment on all our homes, if they keep the rate the same, my rate is gonna go up 70%.
I don't believe that that's the intention, but I also don't speak for the fire
I
department.
know, well, last year it went up 31%.
Yep.
And I'm going to the meeting, I already called, I know when it is. I really want them, you know, I thought that maybe, I can't believe that they can propose their own rate and there's no control on it,
Yeah, that's,
other than respectful for the community,
right,
okay?
yeah, unfortunately, that is the law.
Yeah, okay. Last thing, has anybody gone on English Road and North Avenue with that stop sign they
They're
have?
ordered. I
They're
ordered
ordered,
12
thank
of
you.
them.
The one with, flashing
But
light?
let me explain something to you.
Yep.
I've gone rounds and rounds with the state, and I've gone rounds and rounds with the county. I cannot put them on county roads or state roads. So I can put them at Whittier and Vroom, Chambers and Vroom, Stat Road and, Forest Meadows. I can put them on our town roads, but the county and the state is definitely a no.
So the corner of 259 and Whittier, which has had
Is
deaths.
a no. Yes.
That's a,
That's
yeah.
a no.
Again, the name and number of the guy from the county is,
It's a
Okay.
state
Yeah.
road, I've asked for it, but I did out of a grant from the, Paved New York.
Yep.
I've ordered 10 of them, cost of, I think $19,000.
Pretty good.
And it's, for the stop signs, the posts, the lights around them, and we'll be putting them up on our town roads in different locations.
It's only activated when headlights come on,
Yes,
right?
it's,
Because
radar
off on the
controlled,
lights.
so when you come up to it, it'll stop, it'll go on. It's
Okay.
not on all night.
All right, thank you very much. Oh, last question, who's my councilman? After 44 years, I don't know which one of you guys is my,
So in the town of Ogden, the representatives of the town board encompass the entire town.
Oh, okay.
So there's not one individual, like in Greece, they have wards. The town of Ogden, and actually most towns do not have that. So you're staring at
I
it.
don't.
You got us
Yeah.
all.
You can pick at them all.
Yep.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thanks, Mike. Anyone else that wishes to address the board?
Good evening, Linda Gibardo, 110 Ogden Center Road. I appreciate the fact that this has been a positive meeting, and I'm afraid I'm gonna turn it around a little bit here. This is regarding Mr. Wolf again. This is a subject I don't wanna let go, okay, so I'd like to bring it up again. On your website, it appears as if he has 3 titles. One is the highway superintendent, which my understanding is an elected position, and commissioner of public works. That's not elected,
Correct.
so that's appointed?
Correct.
And then he's also the stormwater public contact. That's what it says on your site. Is that appointed as well?
I don't know that that is an official title. If it says contact, he's the contact for stormwater. Is
So 2 titles, basically, right? The first one's elected, the second one is appointed, so the second one is an employee of the town?
It's never been a separate employee of the town, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, I'm asking if it's not separate, I don't care if it's separate, I'm just saying, he's got 2 titles here, one is appointed, one is elected.
Correct.
Okay. I understand it's very difficult, at least from what I've heard, to terminate an elected official. Is that true? It's a long process, difficult process?
Yes, and not one that the board can engage in our authority as a board.
Okay. But I believe at the last meeting, it was stated that Dan Wolf is an employee of the town.
Yes, we're all employees, even part-time.
Okay, so as an employee of the town, he's required to follow the code of conduct, correct?
Yep, we're all required to.
Okay. It seems clear, based on everything that I've read and all the documents that we foiled, that the code of conduct has been violated multiple times. Some as far back as 2019, and I realize that was before some of your time in office. What's been done since you've been on board, all of you, to address this code of conduct issue? I mean, I understand he now has somebody who has to be with him when he talks to other employees. What else has been done besides slapping on the wrist? Anything? Like, where are we on this?
It's sort of a broad question to ask. If you've done your FOIL, which I know you have, the town has tried to address the concerns, some of which you said you have, all of which you said you have read, and to establish a program to address those, and which you're aware of, and which I'm sure you've read. So that's the broad answer to your broad question.
Some of you have worked in other places. I know, Mike, you were a teacher, right? I've worked in several companies, large companies. And if I ever said any of the things that Mr. Wolf has said, I would
Alleged to have said, yes.
He's admitted to some of them, okay? And they were in his HR file. So, if I would have ever done any of those things, I would have been walked out the door, and I'm sure you all would have been as well, right? A teacher cannot do or say, a corporate employee cannot do or say what has been done here. This is something that we should be addressing
Can I answer one thing in general? I think that your point on being frustrated on what can and can't be done is potentially, and I don't know where that frustration is pointed, but it's potentially pointed in the wrong direction. And I'm saying this universally of any elected official that's either up here or at the county or the state level. At the end of the day, there's a difference between a violation or alleged violation that any employee has. And when any employer, such as yourself, recognizes that there is a violation, you then apply a consequence. When the level of consequences that can be applied to an employee are different between elected officials and non-elected officials, that's the argument that I believe that you're making. Because if one employee were to do or say something and another that's elected does the exact same thing, there are separate protections that the state has placed on elected officials and I use this as an example. I used Mr. Toms for some reason, I don't know why. But any of us, including myself, this board could not get rid of me should I engage in breaking the code of conduct. So I just want to be clear.
I understand that.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
You hold one title, I believe, here.
I feel like I hold a lot.
You may wear many hats, but you have one title,
Yes,
right? Mr. Wolf has at least two titles. One is an appointed title.
correct.
One is elected.
Yes.
How about stripping him of that and any salary that goes along with that appointed title? Right? You have the right to do that as an employee. That part of his position is appointed. It's an employee position. It's not elected. I think the town, we deserve to see something going on here, right? I'm sure most of you, I was asked to ask this question, but, you know, the question was, how long ago did you know that these situations were occurring, right? I guess, you know, if you knew about it day one, I mean, 2019, before you became in this position, there were records against, HR things against him. 2021, multiple things. This is a long time. 2021 was a long time ago, right? This is just coming to the public eye now, and I want to keep it in the public eye, and that's why I'm here. This is something that cannot go on, right? It cannot go on. So, disappointed that it's still going on. I'm disappointed that, you know, we can't do something. Frustrated, maybe the wrong people, but I'm frustrated. And like I said, I'll do whatever I can to find someone to fill that position at the next election. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that wishes to address the board at this time? If not, then I will close the privilege of the floor. We move to reports and remittances. Resolution 210.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Councilman Tom, second by Councilman Baker. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next, town audits, resolution 211.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Councilman Tom, second by Councilman Baker. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. There is a number of correspondence there for the board to review and the public if they'd like. And next, I want to move on to reports from town officers. I'd actually like to go last today, so, and seeing as I'm in charge of the meeting, does that mess up?
It's cut and paste when you're all done.
Sorry, I'm gonna try it.
That's not one of the.
I'm gonna try it. Noel tries to tell me often who really is in charge around here. I am going to anyways. I want to try it out and suffer the consequences tomorrow. Councilman Baker, if you wouldn't mind leading this off.
No report.
Okay. Councilman Trevino.
You're gonna be first anyway, Mike.
Reluctantly at this point, nothing to report.
Councilman Hinman.
Nothing to report.
Okay. Councilman Toms.
Yes, in Mike's absence, I attended a ribbon cutting in the village along with Mayor Penders for a couple of new businesses that sit above in the upstairs above Grandpa Sam's. The Sparrow Speech and Language Therapy was one of those businesses, and Retrieve Physical and Occupational Therapy was the other one. And I also attended the National Night Out hosted by Chief Gray last night. That's it.
Thank you, sir.
I do want to jump back in though,
Oh, jeez.
just to make it more difficult, we did have the individual on Canal Road, he is coming before the zoning board on the fifth, is that right? Yeah, 5th of September. So just for people who want to keep track on that, he is going before, and as he's coming to bear with his attorney team, so, but to continue to get the bottom of that one, so. Sorry, that's it.
Let's see, Highway Superintendent Dan Wolf.
No report.
Town Clerk Noel Burley.
We are just busy doing a lot of marriage licenses and passports. Dealing with the new DEC regulations, this has been lots of fun. Hunters are no longer getting their, licenses on special paper, it's coming on regular, good old fashioned 8.5 by 11 paper, and they're not happy. So we're taking the brunt of that also, so it's gonna be a fun fall for those of us in our office.
They do enjoy chocolates. Anyone wants to lighten their days? Very good. Dan Chum, town's turn.
Sure. I was happy to report there's a resolution this evening to retain special counsel for the Article 7 assessment reviews that have been filed. There's 7, I believe, that are basically a commercial type of appeal. Historically, they've been handled by a particular special counsel. He's sort of in a semi-retirement mode, and his fees have gone up, so we found a very responsible and well-recommended special counsel to handle those. Our acting assessor is familiar with him, and I think it's a good fit for the town to resolve those. And I want to commend the former assessor and the process for the number of parcels that were part of the revaluation and the number of assessment reviews that have been filed. There's a number of residential assessment reviews, but considering the volume of all of the parcels in the town, the percentage is very low. So I think they did a great job. And there is a resolution tonight to consider the rezoning of the land on Shepherd and Gillette into 2 separate zones. I apologize for not having been at the last meeting. I read the minutes, and there was an active discussion about those projects, and I think there was some good comments by the public and the board's responses as well. And there is a resolution tonight to authorize withdrawal of funds necessary to purchase in part the fuel facility. That's subject to a permissive referendum, which will be published in the paper Sunday. And a month from Sunday, we'll be able to move forward with that project. That's it.
Very good. So for my part, I attended the Rec and Police Department's bike rodeo. There's also a ribbon cutting for C&C Bakery. We are working on first steps for the town website. Christian's really been heading that up and getting a lot of feedback from the group that we put together, and not just department heads, but staff that utilizes the website all the time. So it's been a good effort. We've started having conversations about Christmas, believe it or not, and started having conversations with the rec department. We had initial thoughts about doing quite a bit in the park this year. It's still semi on the table, but we've also engaged with this group, the Enchanted Village, Spencerport's Enchanted Village celebration or something like that. I rewrote it, so apparently I rewrote it incorrectly. So they're doing a tree lighting ceremony. They want to do sleigh rides. They want to engage with some of the local businesses. we've equally done that in our Christmas tree lighting ceremony. And essentially, we've done all this because there wasn't an event in the village that they were doing. So one of the thoughts that we have is to potentially join forces and have one great tree lighting ceremony, have the businesses that have contributed just contribute to one thing, and take that approach. That's one of the things we're considering. But we had a great conversation with one of the leaders of that group to try to see what that ends up looking like. Similar to the town contributing to Canal Days and to the concert series at the gazebo. So just active conversations there. We will be receiving a new SAM grant from Assemblyman Jensen, $75,000 that we're going to apply to our efforts on the Buffalo Road Park. Speaking of which, we did complete, and Christian spent, again, a tremendous amount of time on a grant application for that. It's about $600,000. Like I said, he spent a lot of time on it, so we're hoping that comes through. On the topic of money, Amazon is following through on their promise for get the ball rolling on the permit that they need to open the facility. As you recall, the board did take a good look on, with the help and guidance from our building inspector, Brian Thompson, at the fee schedules. We certainly missed out, I think, compared to other towns, based on how our fee schedule was when the Amazon building was first in consideration. But with these changes now, this permit that they're applying for, upwards of a $70,000 permit that will go into the coffers for the residents. So good to see that hard work at least a year ago, maybe plus, come through in that way. It's just one of the many projects that the town has coming in for commercial development. We did honor two employees of the town. One is Judge Shiano. He celebrated his 25th year here in the town. Great accomplishment. We appreciate him for his service and helping in some of the transitional things that we've had in the town here. He also reviewed the new vape law that we're going to introduce probably in the next month. We've got a couple more tours to go on, just to really with the aim of protecting kids. It's honestly the biggest goal is to protect kids. Officer Benetti, Mark Benetti, celebrated his 10th year as well, so we appreciate him. I did write to the board regarding the changes in the assessor's office, and the very short version of this is that our timeline for choosing a new assessor has shortened. So we did engage a retired assessor from Parma, and in the process we've sort of started looking at who might be out there as a full-time replacement, and between that and we had one individual from the clerk's office leave for family medical reasons, and because these positions are actually in pretty short supply, one of our other fantastic employees was approached by another town, and they'll be leaving as well. Unfortunate for us, for sure, but we had some interviews today that went very well, and we've got interviews tomorrow, engaging with people who have been in assessment in other towns for 10 plus years. So we're hoping to make those adjustments in short time. As the chief said, he engaged the school district in doing an active shooter training. I was able to attend at 9 o'clock at night. I'll be honest, I'm more terrified than before, and I say that sincerely. The amount of just walking around a corner and what is involved in protecting our officers, running into a building such as a school district. I mean, I watched as they not only prepped and walked through it, but then actively engage in it in a room like this that looks like, okay, you got a couple walls, big deal. But it's one of those situations that terrifies me for our officers, but I can't explain how appreciative I am that we are doing this. We haven't done it before previously, and so I just want to give a lot of credit to Chief Gray for putting these additional trainings in front of us in hopes that we never use them. But I would rather have done it and need to use it than need to use it and never have done it. You know, so thank you for that, Chief. Appreciate it. We are, budget season is upon us. It just is, and we're setting up meetings starting next week with department heads. We've already engaged in some of those conversations, met with Councilman Toms as well as some other staff just to really look at comparatives to other towns in our salary schedules. Are we paying, similarly to similar positions in other towns? A very good conversation, and really just a first step before we get to the full budget. I do need to ask the board a question. We typically host this wellness biometrics for our staff, and as part of some of the awards that we give to employees, we typically throw a couple of half days into our wellness basket. It's a raffle, and we typically use that as one of the prizes. Since there is a potential financial implication of that, I just wanted to make sure the board was okay with that before you answer. This is something that Gay started a number of years ago. We have done it in the years since, but I just wanted to make sure that everyone is aware and that no one had any objections to that.
Do our names go into?
You,
Never mind.
I don't think, qualify for benefits. Sorry. Jeez.
No
Which is one of the things we talked about is the
No
board.
objections. You're
Take my half day.
Yes, please. Okay, very good. That is it for me. So there being no other unfinished business, we'll move to new business, Madam Clerk.
Resolution 212, authorizing the withdrawal of an amount not to exceed $380,000 from the Town of Ogden General Fund Capital Reserve Account for the construction of the fuel facility on the Town of Ogden campus, subject to a permissive referendum as required by law.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Baker, seconded by Councilman Gerbino. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next, please.
Resolution 213, authorizing the Town of Ogden Police Department to sell property that is no longer needed for operational purposes or deemed to have met the end of their useful life service.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Gerbino, seconded by Councilman Hinman. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next, please.
Resolution 214, authorizing the Town of Ogden Highway Department to transfer or dispose of property that is no longer needed for operational purposes or deemed to have met the end of their useful service life.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Councilman Baker, seconded by Councilman Hinman. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next, please.
Resolution 215, authorizing a budget modification necessary to account for a budgetary shortage in the Town of Ogden Drainage Fund Personnel Services hourly for engineers' accounts.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Gerbino, seconded by Councilman Toms. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next, please.
Resolution 216, authorizing the acceptance of a participant stipend from the Gardner Foundation Semi-Quincentennial Student Fellowship Program for providing an educational internship for a SUNY Geneseo history education student.
So moved, and I think you need a round of applause for that.
Second. Moved by Councilman Hinman, seconded by Councilman Toms. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next, please.
Resolution 217, authorizing the acceptance of a grant from the William J. Pomeroy Foundation for the purpose of purchasing and installing a New York State historic marker for Adams Basin School.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Gerbino, seconded by Councilman Toms. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next, please.
Resolution 218, awarding RMG Custom Metal LLC for the bid for the replacement of the Mansford roof located at the Ogden Town Hall in accordance with the bid specifications at the accepted bid price of $64,900.
I'll move that. Second.
Moved by Councilman Hinman, seconded by Councilman Toms. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next, please.
Resolution 219, negative declaration of environmental significance for rezoning of certain property 22.04-2-37.111 from light industrial to multifamily residential, 6.7 plus or minus acres, and single-family residential, R1, 11.2 plus or minus acres.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Baker, seconded by Councilman Gerbino. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next, please.
Resolution 220, authorizing the rezoning of the property designated as tax map account number 102.04-2-37.111 from light industrial to MFR in R1.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Councilman Baker, seconded by Councilman Toms. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next, please.
Resolution 221, authorizing a request for the furnishing of sealed bids associated with the purchase of one new 2021 or newer vibratory screen with conveyor in accordance with the detailed bid specifications now on file in the town clerk's office.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Gerbino, seconded by Councilman Hinman. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next, please.
Resolution 222, authorizing the Ogden Town Supervisor Mike Zale to execute a retainer letter with Peter Weishauer, ESQ, to provide legal services to the town of Ogden relating to all Article 7 and other assessment appeal matters presently pending relating to the 2024 assessment variations.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Councilman Tom, seconded by Councilman Baker. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. I'd like to make a motion that the board moves into, oh, sorry.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
The signs that you're putting up from the, from,
The Pomeroy,
Yeah.
the historical markers?
yes. Are they going on our road here? Okay. And the sign out front here, I've asked 4 residents who can walk into the building. The sign out front is very confusing because it says Town Hall, and above that sign shows our address, and the corner of our address is on that building next door. So everybody thinks you're coming to the Town Hall. I couldn't understand where we're getting all the people, so I started asking people coming in. They think they're coming into the Town Hall by going to that building, because the address on front of the sign is the address, on the corner of our building out front is our address. So they think they're coming into Town Hall. So I don't know if we can move that or do something with the sign or put something over here, but I just thought about that when you said the signs again.
Okay.
Not the town hall.
Yes, not here. Yeah. Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we move to work session.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, just for the